Heard. All right. So, yes, we're here again with the Winter Summit. And I am so excited to introduce our next featured guest and expert. As I was saying, we met years ago. She started listening to Wealthy Sistas Radio, and we were able to build a good relationship from there. And you know what I love about Miss Cheree Warrick is she is so creative. She is a visionary, but she's strategic. You know, I'm not talking like from just an artist point of view, because I mean, just like being able to take one skill set and build upon the other. And I tell you, every time I talk to her, she's doing something, that she's created and doing some incredible things. So y'all, she's going to be talking to us today about sales. Sales as an entrepreneur. Sales, as we say, it's not not a four-letter word. And if you are afraid of sales, you need to learn to love it, because you cannot be in business and not have the ability to sell. Like she's going to talk about it. We've been selling ourselves since we were a baby. So, Cheree, it is
Hello.
a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I mean, and I can't wait for you to talk about, we gave you a little extra time here to talk about the 10K project, because for such a time as this, you all don't want to miss this, what she has, this initiative. So we're going to turn it over to Cheree Warrick. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, sister, for being here today.
Thank you so much. And thank you. Thank you. So yes, I came across, you know how you're always looking for things to listen to, things that are positive. And I love to hear from Black women and, my people, just period. And I heard Wealthy Sistas. First of all, I just saw Wealthy Sistas and I said, okay, that's where I need to be. And I heard you were interviewing people, and I love just listening to uplifting things. And that was several years ago. So, and we've just been connected ever since. So thank you for having me on here today to talk about sales and also talk about the 10K project, which I'm very excited about. So for everyone out there, my name is Cheree. I always say, like the song, My Cheree Amore. And I was a business plan writer for a decade. Before that, I helped my mother start and grow a very successful bookkeeping business. And before that, I worked in corporate America. So when Deborah and I started talking about the conversation that we would have today, we talked about, let's just talk about sales and the fact that we as women, we as entrepreneurs need to embrace sales, because it's essential for our lives. And it's not just essential for our businesses, but you're selling all the time. Whether you're selling your kids on eating their broccoli, or you're selling, people in the church on taking a missionary trip, or you're selling other people with regards to your businesses. Selling is just vital to us. So I'm going to take the first portion of my time and just talk about sales and talk about what I think are some of the myths about sales that nobody else is really mentioning. And I'm going to talk about what I believe the number one reason is that people don't do well with sales, and that has nothing to do with fear. So it's not what I hear as the typical reasons. I have another reason why I think people don't do well with sales. And then we're going to talk about how you can rectify it, because it's so important for you reaching your business goals, your revenue goals, your personal goals, for you to embrace having revenue coming into your business. And in order to do that, you got to embrace sales. So, let's see here. I just want to make sure I've got my notes here, and I got my glasses here too because of age. Okay, so yes, so just a little bit more about me. I was a business plan writer, and during that time, I made six figures a year in sales, writing business plans full time for people. So it was very interesting that I came after Richard Snow talking about getting your loans and things like that, because that was a great part of what I helped people do for the past decade. I've also made as much as $20,000 in 8 days. So definitely, again, understand the value of sales. And it hasn't always been easy for me. Part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation and I thought it was so important is because I've missed out on sales. I've missed out on opportunities. I remember, oh gosh, it's probably been about 12 or 13 years now. I had two really big opportunities. And at that time, I was probably like some of you. I had, you know, the Post-it notes of my opportunities. I was not organized at all, had the Post-it notes. And both of those opportunities I lost because I did not get the contracts in on time, and I did not follow up with those individuals. And it was at that point that I said, never again, never, ever again. So I decided at that point that I was going to become good at sales, and I was going to rectify what I think is the number one issue that people have with sales. But I'm going to have to put a pin in that. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about some of the top reasons that I think women fail at sales. So number one is I think we have a lack of belief in ourselves. I do think that there is a lack of belief sometimes that we have in our abilities. Sometimes it's a lack of belief in us being worthy. You know, the last session that Deborah's having today is all about building a scalable business, $1 million plus business. If you don't believe you can do that, then you're not going to do it. So a part of our success is believing that it can be done, because it's so vital. For a long time, I was hitting, $200,000 a year, and I couldn't get over it, couldn't get over it, couldn't get over it. And I really had to look inside myself and ask, why? Why am I hitting this wall? And a part of it was that I didn't believe I could do better. And for some of us, it's very important to make sure that we have dealt with that and that we don't have limiting beliefs in ourselves. Some of us don't do as well in sales because we think that it's selfish, it's self-oriented. We think that we are going to take advantage of people. I highly disagree. If you believe in your product or service, and if you believe that your product or service is going to help that individual person. So for a decade, again, I was a business plan writer. I turned down more business plans than I took. And the reason for that was my integrity. The reason for that was people would call me and say, hey, Cheree, I need a business plan. I'm trying to raise $500 million for this new tech company. No, it's not going to make any money for the next 10 years, but I need a bank loan. And if Richard is listening to this, I'm sure he's laughing because that's an impossible scenario. And many of us have come across those people who will take our money and not tell us the truth. And I was never like that, to the point where a couple of people yelled at me saying, how dare you not say that I can get capital for this, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day when they calmed down, they apologized. They came back and said, you really could have taken advantage of me and you didn't. However, there were people who I knew that if I gave them the business plan that they needed. I was one of the best business plan writers out there. And if they had a great idea, if they had a few other things lined up, and if they added my business plan to it, they could be successful at raising capital or getting the government certification they needed, etc. So if you think you're not going to be great at sales, ask yourself if you have a great product or service. And if you do, don't worry about being selfish. If people are coming to you, they're coming to you because they need your help. They need your help. And there's a guy named Grant Cardone who says it's your obligation and your duty to be successful. I personally believe it's my privilege to help those that I know I can help. And that's not selfish. That's not selfish at all. So number three, third reason why women fail at sales, in my opinion, is they think they have to be very aggressive. We think we have to be masculine in order to do well at sales, and that is not true. And I think a lot of us get caught up in some of the greatest sales gurus out there, the Gary Vaynerchuks, the Grant Cardones, you know, the top guys out there are usually raw, aggressive. However, I can be soft and pink and feminine and do well at sales too. So you don't have to be aggressive. One of the things that I live by is that the best salespeople are the best teachers. So what I do is I put myself in the frame of mind of being a teacher. When I was doing business plans, that's what I would do. I would teach people the process of writing business plans, of getting capital, of the things they would expect, of the things that I have encountered from past clients, from talking to angel investors, venture capitalists, bankers, that they wouldn't tell that individual, but they told me. And because of that, I never had to be aggressive. In fact, it was the opposite. People were throwing money at me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take your money because you're not going to get what you're looking for. And guess what? My mortgage was always paid and there was always food in the refrigerator. I never, ever had to worry about that. So no, ladies, we don't have to be aggressive. We don't have to sell ice to an Eskimo in order to do well with sales. Another reason why women think that they fail at sales is that they're not natural at it and that they can't be taught. And that's incorrect. That's incorrect. There are courses out there for introverts that want to be great at sales. In fact, there's a gentleman that says that introverts make the best salespeople. So if you're an introvert, then I wish I should have looked at this guy's name, but he's in Australia. So you can Google introvert and sales, and the guy is in Australia. He has a lot of free information as well if you're an introvert, no problem. If you live in a rural area like I do now, no problem. You know, especially with COVID, now we're able to do everything on Zoom or, you know, virtually. So for a lot of us, we don't even have to leave our homes in order to do well. But you don't necessarily have to be a natural at it. You can get training, and there are a lot of people who can train you, and it can be taught, and it can be taught in a way where you are not taught all sorts of sleek lines, because I don't believe in that either. However, I did have a script. And a lot of people will say, well, Cheree, if you have a script, isn't that like having lines? Who's your favorite actor? So Deborah, actually, let me ask you this. Who's your favorite actress, if you wouldn't mind?
If you'd asked me that 10 years ago, I could roll it off. I can't tell you.
We'll say 10 years ago. Who was your favorite actress 10 years ago?
Let me say, I love Lynn Whitfield,
Okay.
Angela Bassett, right?
Let's take Angela Bassett, because she happens to be one of my favorites as well. Okay. So Angela Bassett, she gets a script, right? Mm-hmm. She learns her lines, and then what does she do? She internalizes them, and she gives the information in a way that's authentic to her and her style and her character. Mm-hmm. And you don't see Angela Bassett trying to be like Lynn Whitfield.
Right.
You don't see Angela Bassett trying to be like Lawrence Fishburne.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So in the same way, we should do the same thing. We don't have to we don't have to take on other people's personas. We can get a general idea of the product or service we're offering, because we are entrepreneurs. We should know that inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
And then understand a few key concepts. For example, asking for the order. How do you ask for the order? When do you ask for the order? How do you ask for referrals? When do you ask for them? Little things like that, and you internalize them, and that way you can become better at sales. So I talked about some of the top reasons why women fail at sales and some of the things that you can do. One of the last things, so I added this as Deborah was talking. She talked about being afraid to make mistakes. She talked about that during her session. And I think that that's true as well, especially as women. We are afraid to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a personal thought, which is, as long as no one dies, or I'm not embezzling funds from anybody or scamming anybody, which I'm not doing, everything else can be forgiven. Even if you give an incorrect piece of information, that can be forgiven. If people feel your heart and they feel like, yeah, you know what? I believe Cheree, I believe she didn't know it at the time, or, I understand she had to come back and give me additional information based on what she's discovered. As long as you're honest about it, they'll forgive you and they'll give you a second chance. Also not being afraid to not know something, because that a lot of times we as women feel that as well. We're like, I don't want to talk to anybody because I don't know everything. Guess what? No one knows everything. Even this guys with the biggest bravado, they're lying half the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, exactly. So if that's your concern, let that go. Let that go. It's okay to say to somebody, you know what? I really don't know the answer to that. Would you mind? I'm going to write that down and I'm going to come back to you with the answer to that question. And people are just fine with that. Okay. So I believe, drum roll here. Thank you. I believe the top reason that people don't like sales is because they're not organized.
Oh.
Ooh, yes.
Oh.
It doesn't have to do with fear. It doesn't have to do with the aggressiveness that we think we have to exhibit as women. I believe it's just we're not organized. And I told you the story before about me missing out on those 2 sales.
But we're multitaskers, though,
Most people are not great at multitasking. And I told you the story before about missing out on like the $20,000. It was like 25,000. It's been several years now of sales. And it's because I wasn't organized. It was because I had, Post-it notes and I was going on memory. And I was not organized. I wasn't organized. So I'm going to break down what being organized is. But before I do that, let's talk about the definition of being organized. According to Webster, it's arranging items in a systemic way, especially on a large scale. So again, the topic after mine is about how to scale a business. You cannot scale a business without being what? Organized, ladies, right? We have to be organized. You can't get from 25,000 in sales to 50,000, 50,000 to 500,000, 500,000 to $1 million without being organized. So the definition is arranging items in a systemic way, especially on a large scale, having one's affairs in order so as to deal with them efficiently. That's the definition of being organized. So how do we deal with things efficiently? I think there are 7 steps to organizing your sales for success. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the 7 really quickly so you can write them down. And then I'm going to take a couple of them and break them down for you. And I'm going to show you 3 examples of organizing your sales plan. And it's super simple, right? Great. Okay, so step number one of organizing your sales for success is deciding on the personal results that you want. What do you want and need personally? So you have a mortgage, you have rent, you have household expenses. You know, you may have a kid going into college, you may have kids in private school, whatever it is, there are things that you want personally. Some of us want, you know, Prada and Gucci and trips to Italy, whatever it is you want, deciding on what that is. The second thing is, what kind of professional results do you want? There are some people who only want to work 20 hours a week because they are homeschool parents or they're stay-at-home parents. There are some people who want to take off for 4 weeks a year. And maybe you are from a different country and you go and visit family, you know, once a year. I've had clients that have done that.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is professionally that you need and want from your business. For some companies, especially tech companies, you'll see that you want certain, they call them logos, certain clients. You know, you want, for some of you, it may be getting into government contracts. And you want that. So what kind of professional results are you looking for in your business? So that's number two. Number three is writing your sales scripts and the answers to the objections. That is essential to getting organized. So I have worked in businesses where the reason why I wasn't doing sales is because I did not have a sales script and I did not know how to answer the basic objections for that product or service. And this is what brought me to the number one reason that women aren't conquering sales is because they're not organized.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you know your script and when you know how to answer just the basic, you know, 80% of the time, you're going to get the same 6 or 7 objections, the same, but what about this? But what about this? Being able to answer those confidently, usually that lifts off the veil of fear with any kind of sales. So you want to do that. So that's number 3. Number 4 are the actions you will do every day and every week, and if necessary, every month to succeed. So I'll give you a few examples. I worked with a woman years ago in Primerica. If anybody's familiar with that, it is a network marketing organization, and they sell life insurance and other types of financial products. And her name was Teresa. And every day, Teresa committed to talking to 3 people a day. Every day, 3 people a day, 3 people a day. She even said that if she had not talked to 3 people a day by the time she was headed home about Primerica and the products and services, she would stop by the grocery store or the gas station and randomly talk to people. But she was committed to the 3 people a day. And when I met her, she had been in the business, I don't know, maybe about 7 years or something like that, making close to 6 figures part-time working in this business because she was committed to that. So some of us need something that's called a Dream 100 list. If you're going after certain businesses and you want to get those businesses to do business with you, you write a list of the top 100 clients, and 100 is an arbitrary number. Could be the top 80 clients, the top 30 clients. If you're doing government work, maybe it's the top 30 agencies or the top 5 agencies that you want to do business with. And then you pursue them, not aggressively, but with great vigor. Make sure that they know who you are. Because I have a saying for all of the people that are in my network: it's not what you know and it's not who you know, it's who knows you. It's who knows you. Because when they know you, when the opportunity arises, they are going to call you. So for some of us, we need that Dream 100 list. Some of us need a social media calendar. What are we going to post? When are we going to post it? That could be a part of our organizing ourselves. So those are some of the actions you will want to consider taking. Again, it depends on your own personal business, what actions you'll need to take. But I personally have, and this is step 5, a 1-page action plan. And I'm going to show you 3 examples of action plans that either I've had in the past or that you can set up for your business. But you want to write down a 1-page action plan, and you want to look at it. I look at mine every day, and it's actually posted on my wall over here. I look at it every single day, ask myself, what do I have to do today? And I start with those things first. So number 6 of my 7 steps to organizing your sales success, number 6 is you have to have some place where you place your activity, the clients that you're getting, the phone calls that you're making, the client calls coming in, the prospect calls coming in. They need to be organized in one place. A lot of people use something called a CRM, Customer Relationship Management System. There are tons out there. Salesforce, Pipedrive, HubSpot. You know, you can find some that are free. You can find some that cost an arm and 5 legs and everything in between. Even if you have something in a Google Doc, that's a great place to start. However, I would suggest if you're trying to get to 7 figures, you need to graduate from that. You do. And invest in something that will keep your task straight, especially following up with people, being able to send out your proposals. You know, all of that needs to be organized, because there are statistics out there that say that the majority of sales are made after the 5th contact. And if you don't contact them but twice, you're losing out on sales. And then number 7 of my 7 steps is a weekly sales or business coach meeting. There are certain people that are sales coaches out there. There are certain people that are business coaches out there, or you can get an accountability partner, but every week going through your numbers. And when I say your numbers, it's the activities that you're doing and the successes or failures that you're having. That's vital, vital, vital to success. My mother was and is a bookkeeper, and we dealt with dozens of clients, hundreds over the course of her time being in business. And I worked for her for about 7 years. And the companies that did the best, and again, we were their bookkeepers, so we saw how well everyone was doing, how much money they had in the bank, etc. The companies that did the best came to us monthly to review their books. And the salespeople and the entrepreneurs that do the best usually have somebody that they're talking to once a week, going over their results and figuring out how they can get better. So those, again, are my 7 steps. Now, let me go through and show you 3 examples of 1-page plans. I'm going to share my screen here so that you are able to see this. And let me see how I can, there we go. So this is just an idea of a checklist here. Again, 1-page simple plan. And this is for somebody who's a recruiter. So a recruiter is somebody who goes out and recruits for companies. And they need to sell both the clients as well as the candidates or the people that would want to fill those positions. So what I like to do on my action plans is really look at the things that I have control over. And if I do enough activity and I talk to enough people and I have my scripts together and I'm selling a good product or service that people want, I should be able to make the sales that I'm looking for. So different things that can be on a checklist for this recruiter is things like reviewing the CRM for follow-up tasks, going to LinkedIn, looking at email messages, checking notifications, calling or emailing 50. This was tech managers that the person was going after, 50 per day. Talking to 50 cyber clients per day. Again, whatever clientele that you're going after or prospects that you're going after, setting a goal of how many you're going to reach out to on a daily basis, adding candidate leads for follow-up, and the social media posts just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Again, this is a super simple item list that you're able to do, and sales plan that you're able to do and be successful. This is a second one. This is for our 10K project here. So I'm showing you just a little bit behind the scenes here, but that's okay. So with the 10K project, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, it's a new organization that I have started. And this is our promotion plan. Our goal is to get as much media attention in order to attract members. So I have our goals here. And then I'm contacting 15 traditional and social media influencers every day. I have a VIP list as well, so I'm reaching out to 3 per day. And then this is my weekly schedule here. Again, very simple. I'm doing some social media lives a couple of times a week, sending out newsletters, writing an article on Tuesdays. Again, with something this simple, I'm able to print this on like fuchsia paper or some really, really bright paper and put it on my office wall. And every day I look at it and I say, what do I need to do today? And one of the biggest things we can do with sales is just be consistent. This is a final one that I have to show you here. This is something called a Broadway show. Now, I did not make this up. It was shown to me by a tech guy, but it's meant for people who need to reach out to a lot of different prospects. And on a weekly basis, you'll do, three posts per week. One post being about building your company and the journey. That could be on Monday. Then on Wednesday, you're writing a post about some of the big stats and macro trends happening in your business and your industry. And then on a Friday, you can write about a promised solution that you're offering to your prospects. Every time you write a post, you send them to an ebook or a webinar or some sort of a knowledge-based gift so that they can learn more about you and feel comfortable with you. Then you nurture them through emails and text messages and ultimately invite them to a live webinar on a weekly basis. Could be, 45 minutes where you are discussing what's happening in your industry and the solution that you have. And then from there, you're inviting all of those individuals to a strategy call, a 30-minute call, where you talk with them, you talk about the issues that they have, you're sharing information. And if the vibe is right on that call, then you ask for the sale and how you can assist them further. So again, Deborah, I don't know if you're there. Were those examples clear? Did we have any questions on those examples?
I am here, and this is the second time I've been caught with peanut butter and apple.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
No. This is great, and I know Stacy loved your 7 steps for sales success, and I did as well.
Fantastic.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the organization, and that's I love organization. Living with a teenager, trying to, really help my daughter even more. She's been away. One thing about this COVID is giving us more opportunity to spend time together. And for me to recognize some things that I can still help her on. Of course, I knew that anyway, but, with her being in boarding school, some things that I'm excited about being able to help her with now. But that organization is so key
It
with
is key.
everything. I mean, I think just like having the time to think about it, every night when you go, before you go to bed or what have you, I found that is the best time for me, or early when I wake up,
Yes.
to just organize my thoughts, to have time to think.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can be in a habit to have television, right? And that's one of the things I don't have one now. I can watch whatever on, line or whatever, but
Right.
I've noticed a difference when I just completely unplug
Mm-hmm.
like that, in the quiet time that you can have to think, to organize. Organization is not just the papers, and although you might look at what I got going on right here, right now, say she's not organized, but
And
it's
you're right. It's not
your
just about the
thoughts,
papers.
it's your
Yeah.
thoughts,
Yeah. It's
and
about
being able to
getting
think
very
clearly.
clear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, it builds confidence too. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're the more organized you are, ladies, when our houses are organized, when they're
Mm-hmm.
clean, when things are in their place,
You can't think
then
without it. Yeah.
yes, yes. And our businesses need to be the same way. It doesn't mean we don't have hiccups in our business. It doesn't mean we're not able to
Mm-hmm.
zigzag. It doesn't mean that we're not, pliable, or, um, we can't move
Mm-hmm.
easily and be agile. That's the word I'm looking for, being agile.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it means, but it
Right.
does mean, like, hey, you know what? I'm getting up. I have a purpose. I know the few things I need to do on a daily basis in
Right.
order to be successful. And I know when I get someone on the phone, what I'm going to say. And in fact, when I was writing business plans, I was so good that you could have awakened me at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, "Hey, Cheree, I need a business plan. What do I need to do?" Right? And you want to get to that point in your
Mm-hmm.
business. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? When you get to that point, what happens? You're making the majority of your money.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a gentleman named Harv Eker who did,
Oh yes.
yes,
Uh-huh. T.
he
Harv
he
Eker.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
T. Harv Eker. And years ago in the 90s, he did a program called Speed Wealth. You can still find it on YouTube. I haven't been able to find it anyplace else, but it's on YouTube, so that's good enough.
Speed
And
well.
it's called Speed Wealth,
Well. Okay.
SpeedWealth, Speed Wealth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he said that your business should be nice and boring. When drama goes up, profits go down. And I thought about that and I thought, yes, he's right. Think
Yeah.
about it in your home. You have a teenager, drama goes up. They, scratch your car. Profits go down, meaning that your money goes down because you got to get it fixed.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, if you're going to get it fixed, right?
Right.
Um, drama goes up in your business. That cousin that, shouldn't be working with you, should not be on payroll. Some of us know that. They're not adding anything to the business. Profits go down. You could be losing clients because of them, etc. So that's a very true statement. And all of this, again, goes around being organized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Organized. And yeah, we're organized with our sales plan and sales process.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that takes away the fear.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we want you to share all about this 10K project. And
Yes.
this is what, again, like Richard Snow coined this phrase for me. I don't know if somebody else been using it, but I'm just saying he coined it for us for the Winter Summit. And he just it was perfect. This is our wealth agenda.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is our wealth agenda. Everything from all the speakers today, it's been able to, if you take this information, we can apply it and we can increase our finances, and we come from a service-driven place, therefore be able to provide opportunities within the community. So this is real economic empowerment here.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Before you get to that, though, you shared with me about the Sisters in Sales organization,
Mm-hmm.
and you talked about tech sales, and I know Talisha is going to come on and talk about the whole aspect of blockchain and all that.
Mhm.
But let's bring some enlightenment, because I sure have been waiting to hear about because we're thinking that you've got to have experience, you got to be a geek to know to be in tech sales, and from what you're telling me, it's some opportunities in that.
Absolutely. So let me say, first of all, Talisha is a great friend of mine and also co-founder of the 10K Project. And you are going to love her when you hear her. That's all I have to say. So yes, there are huge opportunities in technology sales. And all tech sales is a person who sells technology products and services.
Mm-hmm.
And technology can be anything from hardware to software, cloud services. I know these are a lot of fancy terms, but don't worry about it. Artificial intelligence is the wave of the future. Blockchain is the wave of the future. There's tons of cybersecurity, sales jobs out there, etc. Now, so first of all, Deborah was talking about me mentioning Sistas in Sales. That's SISTAS.
Like
Sistas in Sales, yes. Run by a woman named Chantel George up in New York. Great woman, great group of people. They are women of color that do technology sales, okay? So you're able to join them. It's like $100 a year, very reasonable in order to join them. Now, with getting in the front door, you usually don't, it's difficult to get to like Microsoft, Google, Oracle, etc., unless you are coming straight out of college and you're able to get an internship or you're able to get in like really on the ground floor with them. However, there are a lot of mid-sized and smaller businesses where you can get in as a entry-level person.
Mm-hmm.
And because, especially if you're working for a smaller business, you tend to get promoted a lot faster, and there's a lot more opportunity there. So the great thing about being a tech salesperson or any kind of salesperson is that there's no ceiling on your income, meaning that a lot of places will give you a base salary, and then they'll give you commission as well. And when I was talking to a lot of tech salespeople, it was not uncommon for me to hear salaries of 150 to 300,000 plus for salespeople. Not uncommon at all. There are some salespeople that are what we call hunters, meaning they go out, they prospect, they bring in the business, and then there are other people that are called farmers, meaning that they nurture the book of business that the company currently has, and they retain current clients and upsell those current clients to additional products and services. And I would say, if you're interested in anything with regards to sales and tech sales, just reach out to me. And based on what you are asking, I will point you as best as I can in the right direction. I love sales. I love my people. And I just want to see us all succeed. So, and being an entrepreneur is not for everybody as well, which is why I mentioned the technology sales. So if you want to do something where you don't have a ceiling on your income, but you do have a salary and you have some stability, then being a salesperson for different companies could be the right way for you to go. So
is it now, you talked about becoming a part of the organization and everything, is it something hard to tap into?
The organization, no.
I mean, or the field of sales?
The field of sales, no. Okay, so let me say it like this. It's not what you know and it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Again.
So,
you said
so what I mean by that for this is the best way for you to get your first sales job is to do a lot of networking. Go to every tech event you can go to, and go to every chamber of commerce event that you can go to, and let people know, hey, I want to be a salesperson. Trust me, you talk to the right people, you talk to enough people, you have a a great personality and people feel like you're smart, and they will be able to give you certain, you know, the sales playbook and the objections and all of that, and you'd be able to learn your script, you know, and pick things up, then yes, you can absolutely do it. There are also within certain industries, there are some certifications you may also want to get. So like within cyber, there's the CompTIA, I think it's called, which is like the basic certification. And you don't need it to get an entry-level cyber job, but if you have it, it makes you look a lot more attractive. So again, depending on the type of industry you're going into, there are certain certifications you can get that'll make you look a lot more attractive.
Awesome, awesome. All right, we get it. We're getting the great information here. You know, I mean, just keeping it real. I mean, real life situations. People are having to reevaluate how they earn income. They have been in sales, car sales, right? That's a big area we do well in, and you want to be able to work from home, and that's the other thing. You know, this is something that you share with me. People are able to do from home.
Yes, there are so many sales jobs that, yeah, that are remote. There are a lot of sales jobs that are remote. So you are, yes, you are able to do them from home. My only suggestion to people is if you are entry level and you don't have the discipline to do your studies at home and, you know, and really get what you need from home, don't be afraid to go work someplace where you have to go into the office once the COVID lifts up. Go into the office, you know, get in there for 6 to 9 months, shadow the number 1 or number 2 salesperson, really look at how they're doing it, how they organize their day, their, you know, their sales calls, all of that, and pick up some of the best practices, because it's not just about the product or service you're selling, it's also about the best practices and the organization. And again, that goes to my whole topic of the day, is that organization piece.
Organization is that's the secret there. Yeah. So now this 10K project. Whoa.
All right, so how many of you are ready to build Black wealth and help Black businesses? If you're ready, please put a yes in the chat for your girl, and I'm going to show you how we can do that. Build Black wealth and help Black businesses. And again, I cannot thank Deborah enough for allowing me to present this information to all of you. I'm going to take about 7 minutes, present it to you, and then show you to our website. And that way you can get all of the information that you are looking for. So I'm going to share my screen here. And, oops, here we go. So the 10K Project is a community where Black investors can fund Black businesses for as little as $100. I told you in my previous life, I was a business plan writer. And this idea came because I was speaking with a lot of business owners from all ethnicities. And one of the questions I'd always ask whenever they wanted to raise capital, I would always ask, well, once we write this business plan, who are you going to ask for the money from? And people from other ethnicities would usually say, oh, I've got aunt so-and-so, she can give me $250,000. I've got a frat brother who's a venture capitalist and he can give me X amount of dollars. I knew one client who raised $600,000 in pretty much one night. My Black business owners usually didn't have those networks. And the more and more I dived into it, I realized that even when they did have those networks, it was still incredibly hard for them to get the funding that they were looking for. So for the past 2 years, I was saying, you know, if 10,000 of us get together, we put in $100 each, that's $1 million. We could start funding our own companies, we could profit from our own innovation, we can create our own jobs, and we can help close the wealth gap. And I've been saying this for 2 years, and I've been saying this to a specific group that Talicia's a part of. And finally, one day, someone says to me, well, when are you going to do something about that? And let me tell you, I was saying this for somebody else to do it. And sometimes God puts people in your life and sets things up in a way that he says, no, I want you to do it. And I said to this group, I said, I don't want to do this by myself. Are you kidding? And this specific group of 4 other individuals said, you know what, we've got you. We've got your back. We will do this with you. And they became my co-founders, and we started the 10K project. Because we can be the solution and we can earn a return on investment for the companies we are assisting. We see this groundswell right now within the community where, there's a resurgence of We Buy Black, and people want to help grow the Black community. Well, if we're buying Black, maybe we should consider investing Black as well. And that's the whole point of the 10K project. So what we're doing is we are building an equity crowdfunding platform. All crowdfunding is a lot of people getting together, putting in small amounts of money to achieve, a specific goal or mission. And our mission is to grow Black businesses. So what will happen is we will put money together in order to fund the business, and we will get equity from those businesses. We'll get ownership from those businesses. And one of the examples I give is Tyler Perry. Because a lot of times people say, oh, a little bit of money, $100 from each person, that's not really going to help. Well, Tyler Perry built a $1 billion empire doing what? He went on the Chitlin circuit. He sold tickets to his plays. Then he sold tickets to sold his DVDs. And then he ended up in Hollywood. And now he has all of that land down in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And imagine if we as the people own a piece of that, mm-hmm. that Tyler Perry, platform, mm-hmm. and the land that he owns. Mm-hmm. That's what equity crowdfunding is. So we do require something called Securities and Exchange Commission approval, SEC approval, in order to build this platform. We've applied for it, and we're waiting on our approval now. So the 10K project is broken into 5 parts, and this is how it works. The first is membership, and we have an open call for members. It's a one-time payment of $100. And when you become a member, you will get investor education, financial literacy education, everything from understanding how to create family offices, building family banks, getting your kids money savvy, building generational wealth. How do you create it? How do you pass it down? Reducing taxes, etc. Also, as a member, you will be able to see every pitch that comes on the platform. So we call them Bet on Black pitches. And what will happen is an entrepreneur will come to the platform. They will do a live presentation similar to what we have here at the Winter Summit. They will present their business. They will talk about what their business is, how long they've been in business, are they profitable, who their competition is, how are they marketing, how much money they're raising, what are they going to do with the funds, how are we going to get our money back, when are we going to get our money back, etc. So they're going to pitch the entire community. And then we as a community have the ability to ask that entrepreneur questions. We ask them live. So they respond live to your questions, and then you will decide if you want to bet on that Black business. Then after that, we did not want to leave businesses with money and no business support after funding. So business support could be anything from that entrepreneur needs help with social media marketing, or they need help getting on the shelves of Target and Walmart, or they need a CPA, or anything that they need. We are going to have organizations that are able to help those businesses after they have received funding so that they can take the money that they've raised, the money that the community has trusted them with, and grow it 10x, 20x, 100x, etc. And then the final thing that we have is return on investment. That's how you get your money back when you get your money back. Now, I will say this, you have to be prepared to lose it all because these are, we put in quotes, risky investments. However, one of the things that will happen in the investor education is we will give you the best practices of professional investors so that you know what you're looking for when you're listening to those pitches and when you're deciding if you want to fund that specific business. So at the 10K Project, we are the home of the Everyday VC. VC stands for Venture Capitalist. You're an everyday VC, so am I. You know, Shark Tank, here we come, because we're everyday VCs. So I just want to reiterate this again, because we often get this question. What does membership get me? It gets you a seat at the table, financial literacy education, and the opportunity to hear all the pitches that come on the platform for life and invest in all of the businesses that are on the platform for life. And that's a one-time, lifetime payment of $100. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do with that $100 is we are sewing it back into the community so that we can get our message out to more and more and more people. I have no shadow of a doubt that within 2 years, we'll have 1 million people as part of the 10K Project. Wow. But we do need people early on who believe in us and who say, you know what, I want to be a part of this organization. So membership or education is going to include things like how you make more money, how do you save money, reduce debt, repair credit, reduce taxes legally, developing your money savvy kids, anything from your small kids ages 5 to 9, your high schoolers, and your young millennial adults. How to start family banks, the best practices for analyzing deals on the platform, building a strong investment portfolio, creating and preserving family wealth, group economics 2.0, and so much more. And all of that is included in that one-time, lifetime membership fee of $100. Because we could be the type of entrepreneurs that just say, gimme, 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 all your money, put all your money, your rent money, your mortgage money, your kids, college money. We just want everything in all the businesses that are on the platform. But that would not be best for you. And we care about you as a member of this organization. So we want to give you the financial literacy that you need in order to be successful. So some upcoming milestones: membership is open. We also have a members only area that's open as well. We're doing our publicity tour summer and fall of 2020. Actually next week I have 4 podcasts that I'm going to be on. So if you know any Black economic, Black wealth podcasts, social media lives I could be on, etc., reach out to me, info@the10kproject.com, because I want to talk to Lottie, Dottie, and everybody about this. Fall 2020 is when investor education begins. Also, if you want to be an entrepreneur raising money on the platform, that's coming out in fall as well. It will be ready in October, most likely the latter part of October. So I can definitely tell you those dates. And then we're expecting our SEC approval and investments to begin in the spring 2021. We're giving ourselves some buffer time because of COVID. The government says 6 months, but that was pre-COVID. So we just want to give ourselves some buffer time. But when the SEC says you're approved, we will be ready to go. We already have the platform built. We already have all the technology done. So we're asking for help. The biggest thing you can do is check us out, look us up, and become a founding member if you feel compelled to do so. We also have a Facebook and Instagram page. Black 10K Project is where you can find us. Share with your like-minded family and friends. And if you are part of a church, a fraternity, a sorority, a garden club, any place like that, please introduce us to those individuals. Lottie, Dottie, and everybody. I'm telling you, I don't care if it's just 2 people and me there. I will be there to talk about this. Info at the10kproject.com. That's our presentation. We're here to build Black wealth and help Black businesses. We see right now, a lot of companies are saying we're giving millions of dollars away. You know, Netflix CEO said earlier this week, they're giving away $120 million over the next decade. You got Google, you got Facebook, etc. I personally have looked at the articles, like the reading, what they're actually doing. I'm telling you, the way for us to save ourselves is from the bottom up and not the top down. These big companies are not coming to save us. They're not coming to fund our businesses in the ways that we need them to be funded and supported. It's going to be up to us to do it. So again, we are an open book. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to respond to you. Hope I didn't go over time, Deborah.
No, you're perfect, perfect. I mean, and one, I know my brother Douglas is definitely a great resource, education.
Okay.
Definitely you want to connect with him
Okay.
for sure, because the information that he shared, and I know you'll be able to hear the recap of his is definitely that piece of that education that we need to have, the foundation, and helping how to raise the money.
Yes, we're talking to resource partners right now with regards to the membership education. So yes, so if you know anybody, especially anybody that has like games for kids and stuff like that, we would love to connect with those individuals.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tell you she was a wealth of information. Please make sure you go to thewinnersummit.com. Stay on thewinnersummit.com. All of their information, all of Cheree's, all of the other speakers, you can find their content. And as you see, if you're watching this on the replay, there's a lot of people that got the replay. Saturday, their Father's Day weekend, they're out and about, but they are like, I'm getting this replay. And so if you're watching the replay, you can look right down at the bottom there. You will see all of Cheree's information right to the right of the screen there. Again, Cheree, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Congratulations to you for this project. I'm excited, and I see great things coming from it for our community as well. So continue to have the most enjoyable day.
Thank you, Deborah. God bless everybody.
Thank you. God bless you.